Hey everyone, welcome back to another GrantMe video. Today we're going to be talking about Waterloo Computer Science. So if you're interested in applying to Waterloo Computer Science and you want to learn all about academics, admissions, student life, and about funding, make sure you stick along for this video. So jumping into our first topic about career opportunities from this academic program is it's one of the best computer science programs in Canada, and it's highly respected both in Canada and internationally. And it has one of the best co-op programs, and it has insane connections to places like California and in Toronto, in FANG, and even in startups. So if you receive an offer from, let's say, a very tech central hub like Silicon Valley or like a big tech FANG company, you can expect to make an upwards of $100,000 straight from graduation. If you wanted to stay a little bit more local and you wanted to do a software engineering job outside of these tech hubs, you can see and expect a salary range from $60,000 to $100,000, which is actually crazy, and it blows my mind. In addition to this, the program is a co-op program that runs for 5 years. So you study for a term, you work for a term, you study for a term, and you work for a term. And because of this program and how it works, it makes you a highly sought after candidate, especially for jobs at post-graduation. So unlike other universities where they're very heavy on exchange, Waterloo doesn't have a huge exchange presence just because that their co-op program is so popular and you can co-op at a different country. But with that said, you can also get a global experience exchange certificate, but in the end, you can just co-op in a different country or a different place, and there are plenty of companies and partnerships that are on the Waterloo Co-op portal that wants to hire you as a student. So for your first year of courses at Waterloo Computer Science, it is a little bit more flexible compared to the engineering program. But you need to take things like designing and functional programs, algebra, calculus, take one communications elective and one other elective for your first term. For your second term, you need to take elementary algorithm design and data abstraction, software development, linear algebra 1, and also calculus 2. For an honors mathematics, and then in this semester you get 2 electives. Let's talk about admissions. How do you get into Waterloo Computer Science? What are some tips and what are the requirements? So starting off with admission requirements, the required courses from high school to apply to Waterloo Computer Science are as follows. So one, if you're in Ontario, you have to take advanced functions, you have to take calculus and vectors, and then you'd have to take any grade 12 English course, and then in addition to this you have one other grade 12 elective that can be a part of your admission average. So if you're outside of Ontario and you're in another place in Canada, you can take the equivalent of this. So if you're in British Columbia, you would just take pre-calculus and then calculus, and then English is as follows. Any grade 12 English will count as a admission course. Another note to follow is that Waterloo Computer Science also looks at recommended courses, and they recommend you to take any kind of computer science or STEM course that you have at your school, particularly grade 11 U Introduction to Computer Science. In terms of how Waterloo weighs your admissions, Waterloo has an adjustment factor, which basically has all the historical data from all your high school applicants, and then they adjust it based on average GPA to just make sure that inflated grades and really low grades have a fair application point when they're applied to Waterloo Computer Science. So with this, they look at one, your admission average, they apply the adjustment factor, and then they also look at your AIF, which is basically the a supplemental application for Waterloo. Now for some admission statistics. Their admission average is a low to mid 90s, and after this they just look at adjustment factors and your supplemental application. But I would recommend trying to go for a 95 plus average, just because universities are becoming so competitive these days, and it never hurts to aim for at least a 95 plus average, especially in your admission required courses that we talked about earlier. In terms of the acceptance rate, Waterloo Computer Science is such a selective program that they have a acceptance rate of 4.3%. Now let's talk about some student life. So first, starting with residence, they have something called Village 1 and Ron A Village, which is some of their popular residences for first year. And in terms of their meal plan can be used at any type of location, and you're actually tax exempt from Ontario, so that 13% tax is not there, and you also receive 50% off from market prices. And this meal plan ranges from $2,765 to $3,165. In terms of social life at University of Waterloo, I definitely think that Waterloo is a very close-knit community. It's quite a small city, and you can definitely feel a lot closer to your community, your peers, and your friends. And because of this, they also have some major social events that are absolutely crazy, such as HOCO, St. Patty's Day, and are just huge social events that are not only university-wide, but travel into the city as well. In addition to this, Laurier, the another university that is in the area, is a 25-minute walk away. And if you want to have some combined social gatherings between universities, I definitely recommend you to go check it out. There's having a university experience at Waterloo and then also experiencing a university social life experience at Laurier definitely is exciting just to see the different perspectives and social life. Now let's talk about clubs. If you watch any of our previous videos, I really like clubs and I really recommend clubs just because they're such a unique part of your university experience. But I would say Waterloo is a little bit less important in terms of clubs. They have a little bit less clubs in general, but this is just because they have a co-op program. So a lot of people are either on a co-op term or a study term, so it's hard to have a lot of club executives fully committing their time on running a club throughout the year. But with that said, I still recommend you find something that you like, maybe a social club or a club that you're interested in your career, and just join it, meet some new people, meet some like-minded people. I definitely think that is an important part of university. Now let's talk about our last subject, which is funding. So starting off with tuition, if you're a domestic student or have a Canadian PR, this is $17,000 for tuition every single year. For international students, it's a little bit more, it's a little bit heftier. This is looking around $66,000 every single year. But with that said, there are a bunch of scholarships that I 100% recommend you to apply for, and GrantMe 100% recommends you to apply for and will support you as well. So starting with the automatic entrance scholarships. So this is the President's Scholarship with Distinction, which is $5,000 that they give you for having a 95 plus entrance scholarship, which is also another reason why I kind of recommended you to go for a 95 plus average when you're going for applying, just because one, it's above the admission average, it gives you a little bit of leeway room, and two, you're eligible for this entrance scholarship. In addition to this, to have the President's Scholarship, this is $2,000, and this is a high school average of 90 to 95. And then they have a Merit Scholarship, which is $1,000 for admission averages 85 to 90. The one super major scholarship I want to highlight is called the Schulich Scholarship. This is Canada's largest scholarship for STEM students, and this ranges from $80,000 to $100,000. And maybe by the time you're watching this video this year or next year, it might be adjusted for inflation, which is even more. And I definitely recommend you to apply for this. This is based off leadership, merit, and also your academic performance. The last thing I want to talk about is financial aid. Waterloo doesn't offer too much financial aid, but they do have a financial aid program that is selective and you need to apply for. But outside of OSAP and student loans and other government funds, they aren't, you have to contact the student aid office and complete an assessment form to see your financial status and see if you're eligible for any unmet financial aid from Waterloo. The last thing I would want to say is that co-op is definitely helpful for your finances because they have 6 terms that are paid that can help fund your tuition, and oftentimes students in CS co-ops or engineering co-ops or in STEM co-ops can earn up to $50,000 over their Waterloo co-op career, so this can definitely pay for a lot of the tuition and living expenses that come with being a university student. That wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in applying to Waterloo Computer Science, I wish you very, very good luck, especially in the stressful university application process. I went through it myself, so I can definitely empathize and sympathize with all the stress and struggles of balancing school and university applications. Without further ado, make sure you drop a like and subscribe on our channel and fill out a free 3-minute quiz down in the description below that checks if you're eligible for any scholarships to fund the very expensive fee of university tuition, and 2, to see if you're eligible for any of GrantMe's support in terms of essay writing or application help. Without further ado, thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys next time.